Namaste and welcome to your September 2019 Energy Revelations.
Woo! Talk about Ascension Energy. I know you guys are feeling it, and let's just share one thing right now. September is going to be a wild ride because there is this energy of the lifting of the cloak of invisibility. There is this wisdom that is igniting a bridge of other ways of being, and that's kind of why Shri and I said we wanted to shift the way things were coming. That all of this has been percolating, so we feel we need to step back about 2 weeks to actually give you these predictions properly.
Before we do, I just want to acknowledge that we're sitting in one corner of the fabulous courtyard at TOSA Blue Mountain here in Ecuador. And we're in
this is my fig tree. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but my figs are getting big.
Yeah. So we have a wonderful Mayan indigenous altar behind us, honoring the Mayan and the Incan traditions, as well as a little wonderful space heater here, which is honoring my need for warmth.
Well, and I think that a lot of them might see, this is our beautiful Palo Santo, and we have it literally everywhere. These are the little sticks right here, and when you come here, we use this a lot. And again, we felt that it was like an offering. We really felt as if this video is an offering, and so we wanted to really harmonize that, and it took us a while. So we are actually filming this right now. It's a beautiful close of a gorgeous day here at TOSA Blue Mountain, and yeah, Shri, thanks for mentioning all that.
Yeah, because what happened in our experience is just, well, almost 2 weeks ago, we felt this influx of information coming in, and Kira was in communion with the Divine Directors every day, and some information came in which ignited in us a realization that it was time to take another step. In this case, it was a time to take a little step away from the pattern and the flow we were in so that we could honor what was coming forward. And I want to read something to you that came forward about 10 days ago and stimulated these decisions in us. And I trust that they'll stimulate something in you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to share that when this vision came through, I clearly saw, and this is what this moment is about. It's about all of us being able to see a little more than we might normally see. I literally was sitting in what felt like a 19th century classroom. There was a cosmic being wearing a graduation cap, just I think for fun, working with a big chalkboard. And I was sitting in one of those little desks, and there were other people there.
Yeah. So take a moment and just be with this sharing as it came through. The premise: if everything is a lie, then the truth cannot be found. The outcome: knowing the truth becomes dangerous and will be considered an act of terror, for it threatens those who are controlling the truth. This is the energy of spin and is the moment at hand. So how do you navigate that which is upside down? You must look at it in a mirror. Therefore, all mirrors are being cleared, yet you must choose to gaze inward. The inward journey as an outward expansion, letting go of the line that would seek to keep you separated from yourself. And as we allow the wisdom that is carried on those few words to penetrate within, for us it ignited a recognition that to fully surrender to the inward journey and live it as an outward expansion, we needed to take a moment away from those kind of automatic patterns, those automatic things, the lines that would keep us separated from ourselves.
And so we, as many of you know, disappeared from the airwaves last week and just returned this past Thursday, went on Soul Mirrors, Be Amazed, our show. We started talking about the only words we can use is vast library of accelerated information. This has been the most challenging month to put together a video ever. Not because of lack of information, but because of the vast library of information, and really making sure that we were bringing to you what was really important to really pay attention to. And in that journey, and we're going to share all of this with you right now. In that journey, we were also clearly guided to go back and look at the 7 polarities of free will. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's a home study program that we have. It's a program that we put out actually in 2015 that includes how all of the polarity energies would navigate very specifically every year from 2015 through 2022.
Which is the Ascension escalator that is upon us.
Right, exactly. And so we went ahead and it was just so clear that that program, please go check it out. As a matter of fact, we are so committed to it, it's $11 right now. And it's $11 through 9/11 because these next few weeks of September are a soul 911 moment. Now, that is nothing to be afraid of. And so we really want to be careful with our context here. But my angels, let's remember that now that we are in September, this month, as we already mentioned, not only is it going to be a wild ride, it's about, and I'm going to share another vision with you. So Shri read to you why we kind of stepped out. Then while we've been gone, all of this other information has been coming in, and we are going to be releasing this information. We're even putting together another program. We've been taught a whole new protocol for meditation that is just outrageous. And so imagine yourself right now in a cloak, whatever color serves you, but it's nighttime. And you're out in what feels like a very beautiful, familiar forest. And you're noticing that you're having to pull the cloak tight because the wind is blowing. And as the wind is blowing, it forces you to turn your head. And when you turn your head, you notice that right there in the horizon, in what you thought was sky, is what looks like a tent flap. And it's flapping. And there's light. That, my loves, is what the divine directors have talked to us about as this dome of invisibility, or this cloak of invisibility, if you call it impersonally. That is the energy that is being made available for every single being to get this moment on the other side if they choose to. And this is why this bridge, this wisdom bridge is appearing, right? Because as we lift this dome of invisibility, as we're even aware that it's there, well, then our wisdom arises as the bridge into the other dimensional realms. And September is going to be a month where balance and choice are what we'll call forward all of that wisdom.
Wisdom is indeed a bridge that will carry you through and over the seeming chaos that's coming, because September is an acceleration
of
this wild ride, and these first few days, this first couple of weeks of September are pretty intense.
They're very intense. And then we're going to go through the equinox.
Yes, and the equinox is another peak moment. So it's important to recognize that we are all in a moment where our awakenedness is being brought into our awareness. Now, this is an interesting discernment.
Yes, it is.
Everyone out there is awake to something. You might be awake to your own dogmas. You might be awake to a belief system. You might be awake to a non-colored, or influenced kind of reality. But the key is what you are awake to will determine the wisdom that you call forward for this time. And that as this cloak of invisibility is being released, we begin to discover there is our personal cloak of invisibility, meaning what were we denying, what were we hiding, how were we invisible to ourselves?
And I think that really needs a little more expansiveness here. So one of the things to remember is that September is going to open a bridge for the first time. I mean, a really easily accessible, where you know you're not crazy kind of bridge between the 7th and 9th dimensions. So because of that vast energy, there will simultaneously be a moment of, and the word we've been given is bonding, between the 3rd and 4th dimension. And this is really worth noting because the August choice, remember, August was a month of choice. So the heartbeat, the pulse beat that was behind the Kali Ma rising, that was behind everything that was happening, was this heartbeat of choice. Well, in September, it's the heartbeat of awareness. And as Shri was just mentioning, it's going to be rapid and it's going to be accelerated awareness. And that is without judgment. So it just means that it's going to be a highly contrasted, rapid acceleration because everything is rapidly accelerating. And this is a moment of great opportunity.
And so this acceleration of what are you awake to?
Exactly.
For those that are awake
Exactly.
to the conventional 3D, the mass consensus reality that is the dominant experience associated with this planet, that third dimensional experience is bonding ever more tightly with the fourth dimension, which, as you will remember, is the dimension of free-floating energy.
Right.
It's the dimension of both disincarnates and discharged energy, such as fear and anger and greed and all of the things that are the coarser vibration associated with an earthly existence. So as those fourth and third dimensional energies fuse more tightly, guess what? That fourth dimensional free-floating energy stuff is fuel for third dimensional reactivity, egoism, and polarity. And what happens then is it becomes a little more difficult for those who are just waking up through the understanding of a greater reality, that are in that third dimensional reality. To get through that is going to be more challenging than it was in the past.
A lot more challenging. Now we're gonna put up right here the graph of 2019, because let us remember, this was the year of divine awareness. That has been the entire energy of the year. So knowing that that energy works in a flow, we know that that August was a choice month. September will be an awareness month. October will be experience. November is going to be choice, which means we are ending this year in an awareness cycle. So September is the literal bridge. We are in the middle, as you can see here, we are in the middle of the second cycle within the cycle that opened up with that energy of August 15th and is carrying us all the way through until November 5th, when we will already be in retrograde. So this September bridge is looking at you and saying, here is a wisdom moment. And in order to live this as a wisdom moment, Shri and I just want to read to you the sharing that came from the divine directors, because this is a moment, and this is why we were suggesting the 7 Polarities program, because it will enhance your wisdom. And the more that your left brain can actually look, this is part of the chart from the 7 Polarities program, the more that your brain can look and understand and see and be, and forgive me, our little bulldog really wants to be in this video, the more that you will be able to claim this gifted energy of navigating the 7th, 9th frequencies. Now, we have shared a lot more about this during the radio shows that we produced just this past weekend. Please go to onenesstalkradio.com and please watch Explore the Mysteries from Saturday, August 31st, and the show that we produced just earlier today, Shri and Kira Live, the voice of passion and action, right here at YouTube, official Shri and Kira, because there's a lot more. We want to keep this video as tight as possible. So we're going to read this to you. We're going to put up the text as well, because take a minute and breathe, and then we'll be back right after we share this.
So let's take a breath and be present. It will be through this sharp contrast that the rapid, accelerated awakening could appear as actually feeding the polarity. However, the truth is that once you are through the choice moment and focused through the presence of awareness, the anchoring into a shifted state of consciousness releases the energy that would have ever conceived of separation.
Now take a breath. Here we go.
September assists all of the open dimensional fields of energy to flourish through the awareness experience coming forward through this bridge energy. In the 7th and 9th dimensions, the witness arises into the recognition that the greater release of all judgment the faster the resolution manifests. The opening of direct cosmic connection is expanding, especially at the equinox. In the fifth dimensional strata of energy, anchoring outside the boundaries of density sanity, thereby expanding universal compassion through divine awareness, a greater sense of balance through commitment to the divine nature, and the release of the cloak. In the third and fourth dimension, there will be a rise of the cult of narcissism, separation and elitism, a belief in God entitlement and my God is the only God, which leads us to this sharing from the divine directors. When people are afraid, they will give away their power. When people are terrified, they will give away their soul. It's important to recognize that this quote from the divine directors, when people are afraid, they will give away their power, that's been recognized by other wise ones throughout history and used to manipulate masses. The intensity of the time that's upon us is that people are becoming, or will become, terrified.
Or at least that's the premise, right? See, this takes us full circle. And the gift of knowing this premise, which is why we wanted to stop right here, is to say that, okay, so if somebody is terrified, they would be actually willing to sacrifice their soul. Well, you know, this is number one why I'm teaching soul charting in October, so check that out at ShriandKira.com. But what it's really about is that when we are floating, when we have mastered being able to be in the realms of the 7th to 9th dimension, as Shri just read in that beautiful ensoulment, please go back and read it again. When we are able to be navigating that 7th to 9th dimension, we really are in, and I have been there a lot recently and feel very honored and blessed that I've had that spaciousness afforded me to do so. There is a moment of recognition of such a broad experience of the relaxation of the judgment. It's like the experience of the experience. And so this month in September is a gift. And it is a blessing. And we want to share just one more little bit from the divine directors.
And before we do, I just want to underscore something. We mentioned about how in the third dimensional energies that the fourth is going to be accelerating on the polarity and the narcissism, etc. The fifth dimensional energy is very much about compassion, and it has been well within reach for many, many years.
Yeah.
And that fifth dimensional energy is very much exemplified by His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Buddhism in general.
Well, and let's make a special note that
Yeah.
the fifth dimension is compassion.
Yes,
and if
exactly.
ever there was a month to send blessings to His Holiness, this is the month. May we all send enhancement. I'm not inviting you to be a Buddhist. I'm not saying anything about Buddhism, but I am saying that this is a month where we could all benefit from sending our love and support to the Buddhist culture.
Absolutely. Because this culture has served as a manifest model of this gateway. So as we move from third to fifth, which
And
is that compassion, into the 7th and 9th, we're moving into the peacefulness
Yeah.
of a field beyond all comparison. And this is why judgment simply falls away, and the unity and the bliss is available in a way that has not been available before. And this is why it's so important to lean inward, to have that inner authenticity become the same as the outer authenticity, to trust that flow of what is emerging from your soul into this outer expression, to be aware.
Go check out the 7 Polarities of Free Will. It's at our website, ShriandKira.com. Go check it out. And Shri, we're going to just take a breath, and we want to share this one final, just quick little paragraph with you. We're going to put the text up so you can also see it.
So let's take a breath. The density bubble is now thickening. Thereby, the thick ceiling of energy supports those who are 100% aligned in density to feel empowered within that field. This is creating a stronger barrier. For those who are just beginning to awaken, they will be challenged to trust themselves. Self-trust of your divine experience is the fuel of upliftment for all. When you arise into witnessing of the witnesser, The unconditional love that supports you becomes you, and through divine unification, you flourish.
Now, as you feel that, may your heart know that the month of September is going to be a wild ride, but you know what? You love rides, and you're already on it. The key is to recognize that wisdom is your bridge.
Especially
so pay
the
attention.
divine wisdom that will carry you just walking over the chaos, because self-trust is what creates the bridge.
Self-trust is the wisdom. We love you so much. We'll be with you all month long. We have more to share.
Namaste.